I think it's very similar things. I was talking with Tracy, the publicist from Candlewick, and she was saying she can look around a room and she can spot the Emily Windsnap girls. And in a way, yeah, I could understand what she meant. But I don't know, I just think sort of 8 to 11-year-old girls who are into reading, they're quite often into writing, they've got their best friend, you know, I don't know. Hopefully lots of that age group. Mm-hmm. But generally girls, it's quite hard to convince the boys to get on board. Although when they buy any, they buy the second one because it's got a sea monster on the front.
I guess the pink would be a harder sell.
I mean, this is a very difficult book for a boy to go into a bookshop and say, oh, Dad, can I have the one with the pink sparkling butterfly? And, you know, it's a shame because when I read bits out of them at schools and the boys sit, they're interested. The mermaid ones I found slightly easy to sell because I can tell them, you know, there's hammerhead sharks and sea monsters and shipwrecks and there's a prison out at sea. But I've not yet managed to think of a way to sell the fairies to the boys. You never know. There's a boy in the third one though. Mm-hmm. He starts it all off.
Well, here's just a fun question. You said that your books are about these ordinary, kind of average kids who have these magical experiences. If you were going to wake up and have some magical talent or experience happen, what would you like it to be? If you could be a character, I guess.
I think it would be time travel. I think it would be to be able to go to some other place. If I could be a character, I don't know, that'd be me. But apparently Emily Windsnap is very similar to me. I didn't realise till my dad told me. So if I invented a character, they'd probably end up just being me anyway. But I think the thing I would do would be to be able to travel to different times. Or maybe like to different galaxies and see if there's any other life out there. But it would be something like that. Yeah. That's what the time travel thing, which has started coming into it came into the Philippa Fisher and the Fairies promise of it. But that's an idea that I'm moving on to next as well with the next book.
Okay, so I was going to ask if it's difficult to balance the two series and where you are now, if you are planning more Emily Windsnap books or if you're concentrating on the Philippa Fisher books now.
Well, there's the plan was always to write 3 Emily Windsnap books and then 3 Philippa Fisher books. And so I wrote the 3 Emily Windsnaps and then started the Philippa Fisher books. And then lots of American girls generally, you know, the English readers seem to be happy with what they're given, but the American ones
want more.
When they like it, they let you know, and they're very insistent. And so I started getting quite a lot of emails from American girls telling me I had to write a 4th Emily Windsnap books, giving me ideas just in case I didn't have any, so that, you know, I wouldn't be stuck. And then actually I had this idea that I wanted to do one. So the 4th one came out, and then that was definitely the end. And just a couple of weeks ago, Orion, who my UK publisher, said that they had this idea of something they want to do with books, and they were wondering how I might feel about doing a 5th one. And actually it coincided with the point where I just started thinking about the possibility. So there is going to be a 5th Emily Windsnap book.
Okay, great.
But the Philippa Fisher, I'm pretty sure, is finished, and I'm pretty sure Emily will finish at 5. And then after that, there's another, the book that comes out next, which I've finished, and it comes out in England in March and over here in October, is something completely different. It's just a standalone book. It's called A Year Without Autumn, and it involves a girl who gets a little bit lost in time. She accidentally slips forward a year of her life and doesn't know how it's happened, and some terrible things have happened. She has to try and undo it.
Okay, great. Well, we're looking forward to that.
Thank you, me too. Children, Emily Windsnap just sort of came out of nowhere. I was living on a boat and I was just like staring out the window one afternoon, and I made up a poem actually, and then somebody suggested I try turning the poem into a book. So I thought, oh okay, so that was how it all started. But it just feels right for me. I like looking at the world in that sort of way. I like to write for children. I'm not cynical, I'm quite naive, I like happy endings, I like to have lots of fun and lots of action and interesting characters, so that's why it works out like that.
And I know that there's an Emily Windsnap movie in development, I think. Do you have any details on that?
I just have to say now, okay, are you listening? It's a big if still, okay? It's still, okay, if there was like a ladder from the ground to the ceiling, and when you get to the ceiling, that's, you know, the point where it's the movie's out. And if you're on the ground, then that's like nothing's happened. So I would say that I'm quite a small step, it's like the first rung on that ladder. There's a movie company that's got an option on it, which means that they've they've already spent committed money, they've committed time, they're actively developing it. However, they have to get a big company behind them, a big studio behind them, they have to raise $20 million. There's an awful lot of stuff that has to happen, quite big stuff, you know, before it's real. But it's in development, it may happen. But this is the important thing, I will have no control over the auditions, okay? So, because I do get a lot of
So the biggest fan can't write you a letter and say that she needs to be Emily?
No, I get an awful lot of requests for, like, when will the auditions take place, and descriptions, and like, I can swim really well, and I'm really sorry. So, but, you know, if it happens, it'd just be amazing. I'd love it.
You've been here on tour visiting schools. What's your favorite thing about meeting with fans?
The favourite thing, I think, is when somebody tells me something something that makes me realise that my books and something I've done sitting at home on my own with my imagination has actually been significant in their lives. And you know, when I have these moments, then it takes me like quite a, like yesterday, for example. So there was a man who was buying some books for his daughter, and he said, can you put happy second grade, because she's just started a second grade today. And he said, my daughter is granddaughter just started reading on her own, and he said, and your books are the first books that she's doing this with. And he said, so you'll always have this place in her life that you were the first book. And it's like, you know, these moments, it's like, wow, I feel so kind of, I don't know, I feel honoured, you know, when those are the moments that really excite me. Oh, also, when they give me silly bands, I really like that, because we don't have these in England, and so those moments are really exciting, because I get silly bands, and look, if I can untangle her, then you might be able to see that this one's a mermaid. Look, can you see? She's a mermaid. Great. So I was given her. So those kind of things excite me.
Is there a, I guess, most memorable letter you've ever gotten from a fan?
Yeah, there is. There was one email I had a few years ago. It was from a woman who told me that her daughter actually had cancer in her brain, and she was in hospital, and she said that when she was having chemotherapy, someone had bought her my first book, Tale of Emily Windsnap, and she said that she was there in a bed, she couldn't do anything, and she said the moments when we read your book to her, her face came alive, and it was like, you know, that you just helped us through this period. And she then had radiotherapy, and she was buying she read the second one, and then she was going for some third treatment, and so I wrote back, I said, don't buy any more, I want, you know, let me send you them and sign them for her, and we kept in touch a little bit, and that to me was absolutely stunning. That was like, I think that'll always be the most amazing thing, to think that a child who was incredibly ill, going through this terrible thing, like, my books had helped that process. I don't know, that was the most memorable thing ever, really. That's probably better than a movie deal, to be honest. Well,
just to end our conversation on something fun, I guess, but you've been here in Nashville for a few days now. Can you tell us your favorite thing about Nashville so far, the best thing you've done?
Oh, the best thing I've done was last night going to the Bluebird Cafe, and it's just this, I think they call it In the Row or In the Round, and just these amazing guitarists and singers playing, and they kind of take it turns to do a song, and they kind of dip in and out of each other's songs, and the atmosphere in this small club was just brilliant. It was amazing. Oh, and then we went to the bar in the hotel afterwards, and do you know Led Zeppelin? So Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin was sitting in the bar across from us, and we were like, that's Robert Plant, and we were so well behaved about it. I know, but we really were. This guy came in and asked if you could take a photo with him, and we were tutting and disapproving because we just left him alone.
We're cool fans.
Yeah, but that was great, and we bought cowboy boots and went to just the whole atmosphere of the place. I love it. And I love the I don't know what it's called, but where there's like the monuments all the way along the 200 years of since a billion years ago, and it's got all the markings of Nashville becoming of Tennessee.
Yeah, in the park in front of behind the Capitol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think everyone should go.
Yeah, that's a really nice place. Well, thank you again for talking to us, and we're so glad you could come and go pick up Philippa Fisher and the Fairy's Promise in October. And we'll also be giving away some books on our blog, The Bookcase, so we'll give you some information about that. Thank you.
Thank you.